Hello guys and welcome to today's video, and I'm going to be making two videos today. I'm going to be making one on 95W, which I'm doing this morning, and another update of 99P coming up in this evening. I'm trying to get used to doing the double, dailies here, because once, the Western Pacific, Eastern Pacific, and the Atlantic wake up all at the same time, I'm going to have to split that up into two videos, so I'm not making the videos too long for you guys to watch. So this is probably going to be the format going forward. I'm going to try to do twice a day. I mean, obviously, there's probably going to be days where I do only once, but we're going to try to keep this grind going as much as possible to keep you guys ahead of the storm. So here we are. We're looking at Invest 95W, and right now it's looking like a hot mess, which is understandable. It's a tropical wave. So, it still needs some time to build on its low level center, which, with Demon, that's what it's going to do. The less convection it does, the more it works on the insides. Think of it like this: the convection is the hood, if you will, so of a car engine, and the low level center is the engine. So we're just waiting to see how the low level center pans out over the next couple of days. And what the models do show is that this could potentially be our first named storm, but not only that, but our first typhoon of the season too. We'll take a look at that here shortly. So here we are. Invest 95W is located 4.5 north, 158.2 east. Max sustained winds are at 20 knots or 25 miles per hour, and minimal central pressure is at 1,006 millibars. So let's see how it all looks out. And as you can see, like I said, we're in Demon right now, and as you can see, it's just pretty much devoid of any convection right now because of the fact that we're in Demon. I mean, we're going to take a look at the shear, sea surface temperatures too, to see if anything else is really working against us right now. But I think right now we're just looking at something that's devoid of convection because of Demon here. So it has a lot of work to do here to catch up to what it should be doing here with the models, which I'll be showing here shortly. So with that being said, now we're going to take a look at the GEFS, and here we go. This shows a pretty decent typhoon here, going up to peaking at around 985 millibars. And we're looking 10 days out here because this is how far the GEFS goes. And as you can see, here in 72 hours, this could become a named storm. And I think the first named storm is Macalus. I'm probably saying that wrong, but that's Macalus. So that's the first named storm, and it looks like if the GFS in the Euro gets its way, we could be seeing that on the horizon. But thankfully, right now, most of these model members have it recurving out the sea before the Philippine Islands, so that's always a good thing. Always a good thing when it comes to tracking these systems. All right, so here is the GEPS, and just like any other GEPS run we look at, it's not as enthused as the GEFS here. As you can see, I mean, they do get it pretty decent here going into the 160 to 240 hour range, but it doesn't really do anything with it in the 5-day time frame. And that's a pretty typical GEPS move there, to be honest. I mean, this gets it going around 48 to 72 hours, while this gets it going around 120 to 168 hours. So the GEPS does eventually form it, just it takes a lot longer than the GEFS to really do anything with it. All right, so now we're going to take a look at the sea surface temperatures here, and where the system is at right now, we're looking at 29s and 30 degrees Celsius waters. This is plenty warm enough, plenty warm enough for intensification if the shear is right, and the other stuff that's working with it. I think this is coming from a westerly wind burst event, so that helps it a little bit since it's so close to the equator. Like I said, it's at 4.5 north right now, so and we're looking at 30s. Even some 31s popping up in here in some places. So it has the very hot tub like waters here to work with as we go out through the next 5 to 7 days. All right, so now we're going to take a look at the GFS here. This was initialized at 6Z, and here you go. This is our system right in here, around 160 east. So here we are, 24 hours out, 1,004 millibars. It's already trying to get something going here. 8 knots of shear and 86% relative humidity, which is pretty good. It's pretty good. 48 hours, 998 millibars. It's in a hurry to develop here. 11 knots of shear and 74% relative humidity, which is still decent. And then 72 hours, we're at 973 millibars. This is 3 days out, guys. 3 days out. 10 knots of shear and 71% relative humidity. The relative humidity could be a little bit better, but it's getting there. It's going up there. 96 hours. I think that's 960 millibars. So this is a Category 3, Typhoon here. We're looking at 9 knots of shear and 76% relative humidity. And then finally, hour 120 mark. It weakens a little bit, but then starts to lower again as we head out later through time, which we're not going to be looking at that. Here's an hour and 20 or 120 hours out. We're looking at 15 knots of shear and 72% relative humidity. So, I mean, it's not too bad. It's not too bad as we head out through the next couple of days. Like I said, it looks really bad right now, but I think that's because it's in the demon cycle of the latent heat cycles that help tropical cyclones. So we're gonna have to see how it does when it gets to DMAX a little bit later. All right, so now we're gonna take a look. I think we're gonna go back to 0Z since that goes out more. So here is the no, never mind. We're gonna go at 6. All right, sorry about that. Here is the 6C model of the ECMWF, or the European, and you can see that it really doesn't do too much with it in the short term. So we're just gonna have to see how it pans out. But here we're gonna look at this 0Z anyways. Okay, so as you can see here, it's pretty much the same deal, but we can go out a little bit longer. It starts to get going here in about 81 hours, and it does make it into a decent tropical storm. So that's why I'm not a fan. I mean, I'm glad that they're doing 6Z and 18Z now. I just wish it would go past 90 hours so we could see a little bit more. But I'm thankful. I'm thankful that they have these on here now. And we got some extra features, like you're able to see how the sounding is, which is 11 knots of shear and 70% relative humidity, which is pretty all right. So I mean, we're just gonna have to see how the 12Z run does with it when it comes time to see that. All right, so here is the final thing we're going to look at, and this is the H-Wharf. This is 6Z here, and we're going to go out 24 hours. Still loosely organized here. We're going to look at soundings. 5 knots and 89% relative humidity, so we got that going for it. 48 hours, we start to pick up the pace a little bit. We're looking at 3 knots of shear and 88% relative humidity. So the H-Wharf really likes this environment here. 975. Now it's really starting to pick up some steam. This is a Category 2 Typhoon here. 5 knots of shear and 90% relative humidity. So it's all good there. But as you can see, it doesn't really strengthen. It fluctuates, but it mostly stays steady in that 24-hour time period. And the reason here is this right here, 22%, or not 22%, but 22 knots of shear at the 200 and 850 millibar levels. So that's going to be what causes this to stay steady in strength and not really strengthen So, you got this going against it, but you got the relative humidity working with it. So it's going to be interesting to see how that all pans out. But as we go out through time, it starts to weaken, and then it just stays steady from there going into the 5 day time frame. All right, so with that being said, this is going to be my update for Invest 95W. Like I said, later on this evening, I'm going to have an update on 99P because that's really starting to crank up now as I'm making this video. Anyways, I want to thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys again this evening.